What's goody YouTube? My name is Sierra and welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Before we get into this video, make sure you give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So as you guys can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about how to talk to your children about racism. So I got my handy dandy notebook, and without further ado, let's get started. All the information that I'm sharing with you guys from this video either got from university research, scholarly articles, research studies, books, or other videos. So I'll leave all that information in the description box. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is when parents say that they teach their children not to see race. Even though I understand the sentiment behind that phrase, studies show that it is actually very damaging and counterproductive to say that to your children. Because as early as the ages of 3 and 4, your children are able to group things together by similarities. So if your child is growing up in a predominantly African American home and neighborhood, if they go out and see Caucasian people or Asian people, studies show that they will stare at them longer than people of their own skin color because they're trying to group them with other people. They're trying to understand their faces and put them with other things that they have seen before. So to say that your child doesn't see color, it's not true, because your children see color at a very early age. So it is important to talk to your children about race and racism early, often, and honestly. I know you might be thinking, what is the good age to talk about it? I don't want to talk about it too early. I don't want to make my child upset. But the truth is that racism exists in our country, in our society, in our world, and to not inform children about that is depriving them of information that they need to be able to help other people and to help themselves. Don't hold back information to them, but rather present it in a positive way. Present it as a conversation. Make it a dialogue. Another thing that I want to talk about that could be helpful is to bring inclusion into your home. And this could be as simple as watching a movie that has a more diverse cast, or watching an animated movie that maybe has an African American princess, or has a princess that has different texture hair than you. People that are different from you. Children celebrate diversity. They love variety, different things, different colors, shapes, tastes, visual stimulation. So children are more than happy to embrace and celebrate diversity. If it is presented to them positively and happily, they're into it. Another thing that you could do for your children to help them become more inclusive is to experience different foods. So maybe one night you can have Indian food, then you can have Chinese food or sushi or Jamaican food. Just bring in little things so they can taste foods from around the world and from different cultures, and maybe they can get a little background on it. So not only would they be learning about other people's culture and way of life and foods, you can also be giving them background information on your way of life and your food and your ancestral roots and your heritage. So it could be like a big old learning experience while you're eating a nice meal. Another thing that I read that is very important is to make it a conversation. In this one news article I was reading, which I'll put in the description box below, this woman was talking about how every day her and her daughter would walk past this certain playground where these African American children were always playing basketball. And she didn't want her daughter to get the stereotype in her head that only black people can play basketball, or that black people are only good at basketball. So one day as they were walking, she stopped her daughter and was like, "Oh, aren't they really good at basketball?" And her daughter says, "Yes, I've never seen anybody else play basketball here." And her mom says, "Well, they are excellent at basketball, and there's so many other people excellent at basketball. Your grandfather plays basketball." Like, make it a fun, interesting, inclusive conversation. Bring it back to your family. So not only did she validate her child's question, but she broke it down into terms that may have been easier to understand, and she brought it back around to include her family and her grandfather, which is something that she is comfortable and familiar with. When I was in 3rd grade, we were having like this braid train where like we would have somebody sit in front of you and we would be braiding each other's hair. And I was in like the middle of the train, and this girl was trying to braid my hair, and my hair was like this. Like, it was very thick, like it was dense, like it wasn't like straight and silky like the other girl's hair. The girl behind me who was braiding my hair, she's like,
"Mrs. F, like, I don't want to be behind Sierra. Like, I can't braid her hair. It's too thick."
And the teacher, she was kind of like embarrassed and just reprimanded the child and was like,
"Okay, well, don't say that, and then Sierra, you could sit like in this spot if you want to, or you could sit in the back of the train if you want to."
I was kind of embarrassed because I was like, my hair is not pretty enough to braid, or my hair is not easy to braid. I believe that my teacher could have maybe used that situation as a teaching moment. According to the research that I've read, it is most important to explain to your child first and gently reprimand them later. So in hindsight, which is 2020, I feel like my teacher could have been like, well, Sierra's hair isn't hard to braid, like it's just different because her hair is thicker. She has naturally long, beautiful curly hair, while you have naturally long, beautiful, silky, straight hair. And that doesn't mean that it's more difficult, it's just different, and we should celebrate each other's differences. You know, something like that. According to Dr. Janettaylor, who is an African-American psychologist, she says that now in 2020, right now would be the best time to start talking to your children about racism if you haven't done so already. And I completely agree. It is almost impossible for them not to see it somewhere, either on social media, the news, or in memes. So this is a great opportunity to use that. She says that if you look on the TV and your child sees people protesting, you could explain it to them like, do you know why these people are protesting? Do you know why they're doing this? And then your child might say yes or no. And then she goes on to say that if they say no, you can explain to them that these people are being mistreated by certain people and they do not like that. So they have decided to stand up for what they believe in and to protest, which is in their legal right to do so. By doing that, you are raising a free thinker. You are raising a child who will stand up for what they believe in and who will be an ally to other people. A fun activity for you to do with your children to get them even more background on their history and ancestral roots is you could do one of those ancestry.com. So you could go through your family tree and figure out who your grandparents are, give them more background and history on their heritage and their history, so it opens the door for you to freely talk about other people's. It's all about celebrating diversities, but also highlighting similarities. Yeah, just talking to your child like, you know, they like a person, like they an adult, like, you know. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to talk to me in the comments. I love talking to you guys. Let me know your opinion. Have you talked to your child about racism? Do you plan to? If you did, how did it go? Let me know. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah! Have a good one. Bye.